Hello, everybody. Welcome to Graded Point Live. I'm your host, of course, as usual. Piper is with me. And who are you? Who are you, sir? Do you have any skin in this game?
I have skin in this game. Who are you? I felt like I'd fallen in an Alice in Wonderland commercial or something. You know.
Who are you, sir? Do you have any skin in this game? I'll get some feedback on your a little bit.
Who are you? I felt like I'd fallen in an Alice in Wonderland commercial.
Everybody's like, "Oh, what's going on?" Yeah, but no. So yeah, we got the umbrella guy with us, or that umbrella guy. His stuff is in the bottom of the thing down there. But yeah. So yeah, we got the umbrella guy with us. I'm still hearing myself in the background.
That was very concise there. Very concise.
Oh yeah, you know how it works. You know.
Yep.
I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I'm
Taco's probably here.
That was very concise there. Very.
Yeah, it's bleeding through really bad. I don't know why.
Yep.
I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
Taco's probably here.
Oh, I just saw your tweet. Any stream where Tug is ripping on that gigantic asshole is okay by me.
I hate that
guy. Any stream where Tug is ripping on that.
Are you listening through your speakers, Tug? Is that what's going on?
No, actually, I have my headphones set up.
Oh wow! For some reason, it's getting a lot of.
Let me switch over. Let me actually take them off and see if there's some reason or something.
Oh yeah, no problem. No problem. Yeah, we'll go on for a moment.
No, actually, I have my headphones set up.
Oh wow! I don't know why he's getting so bleed.
Yeah, let's see. Did that clear it up at all? Actually, take them off and see if there's some reason.
No, I'm still hearing it. That's weird.
See, I'm not hearing it.
We'll go on for a moment. Yeah, because
okay, I just did.
OBS is hearing. Yeah, it's picking it up real bad.
Did that clear it up at all?
Let me see here. No,
I just.
See, I'm not hearing.
I just did me a nice long stream too. Didn't have any.
Yeah, I didn't hear it on
problems
I didn't hear anything there. That was weird. Because.
Yeah, Optimus, I think it's you, old man.
How's it me? It can't be me.
I'm not.
I just did me.
It is me.
Nice long.
It is you.
I had the stream open like a moron, and
you didn't have it. You didn't.
I'm trying to blame it, and I'm trying to blame it on Tug. I'm a terrible.
That's some first
host.
Year stuff right there.
Yeah,
hey man, I've done that myself. I luckily haven't done that in a while. So, you know.
Oh my god!
Don't worry, you can just say, "Well, at least I haven't Edwin Boyette my stream yet." That's what I always tell people.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've definitely boomered a few streams though.
Boomer it up with the best of them for sure.
Yeah, I boomered quite a few of my streams, so you know. Yeah, call me a boomer, guys. That's fine. So, anyway, let's talk about your adventures in the last week. Tug. Well, the last few days, really, because it was Saturday when this occurred. You were on Ethan Van Sciver's live stream, and they had an unexpected guest in Scott Kurtz, who is I don't know, how's the best way to put this? Not a nice guy. I mean,
that's a very nice way of putting it, indeed.
Yeah. It's like he's just not a nice guy. Okay, first, I'm gonna put a good picture of Scott up here. First thing everybody will notice, he's fat.
Yeah, he's larger than life. Come on, man.
Yeah. He's a larger than life personality and person. But no. So he comes on the stream because he was because anybody don't know. I think I talked about this briefly the other day, where he cried over a picture that Mike Miller had drawn over of Mike Wieringo's art, and I cried over Old Yeller, but that was Old Yeller, right? that had an impact on me as a kid, So
yeah, that was so sad.
Yeah. But
he was talking about it being manly to cry, though. I thought, really, like, in what world do you say that? Real men cry, yeah.
So he was on this stream.
These are manly tears.
These are manly tears.
Does that go with his manly tits? Oh wait,
right? Exactly.
You're getting Tug unfiltered here. Oh, I gotta ask.
Oh yeah, I forgot to ask. Am I supposed to be on good behavior today?
You're
Nah.
just don't get racist or homophobic. That's all.
I never get racist.
I know you.
I don't
wouldn't
get
do that.
racist or any of that good stuff. So yeah, I don't ever go there.
Let's see. Dark Admiral March Hare asked, "That umbrella guy, are you Kurtz's father?"
I hope not. I hope not.
If it is, redo the test, right?
So I like Michael Beacon. What looks like Scott's been eating his feelings and a whole lot else.
That's actually, what's bad is that is not Scott at his highest weight there.
No.
There are some bigger pictures.
Oh yeah. I was looking through them earlier. It also, it's really bad because it makes his head look tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this one right here, I'm just putting on the stream right now. It's just like, oh, big boy.
Oh shoot! I forgot my job. We're not supposed to make fun of people's looks. Is not legitimate.
That one where he's sitting and wearing a black shirt. It actually, I couldn't tell that the chair was behind him. I actually thought that was part of him. I mean, he's that freaking big.
He gets fatter, Lord.
Yeah, that picture at the bottom of your screen, let's see.
Oh yeah.
I see that one
right by the view more.
Yeah, it's like he's got it. Look, I mean, he's got some big old legs and stuff. What's bad is you look at these people and you think these are the people that want to be the moral arbiters out there. They want to tell you about. See, does that not look like it's part of him in the picture?
It does.
Yeah.
It really does.
Start looking.
Like his back just overlaps.
Lord.
Yeah.
He's just got a camel hump in the back.
Oh, he's like a bean bag, like a fully grown bean bag. Michael Beacon said this isn't even his final form.
Yeah, pre-Subway Jared. Well, I mean, it could be pre-prison Jared if things keep going.
Yeah, I was going to say, think about the children. Yeah. Like, wait, don't think about the children.
Don't think about the children. Yeah, reverse MODOK, that's a good one. Arbiter, more like arm biter. Our chat's lit sometimes.
It's weird though that these guys. I mean, you look at these folks. Like none of them. I saw, Jerry Conway, like a picture of him when he was younger, and I thought, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me that guy thinks that he can stand up and take the stage and tell you, how to live, how to do this and how to do that because he could tell a good story. Not diminishing telling a good story because I love comic books, but, really. I mean, really.
No, for real, though. I mean, how a person looks shouldn't affect, like, all of that. But I still get you that there's only so many topics that they should be that they should stick to, I think.
Yeah. I hope that I don't ever hear like Scott Kurtz like telling me, he's like, man, you should really eat a salad. Like, really, dude?
Yeah.
Seriously? No.
Well, what was bad is he was, that night you were talking about, he was digging on like Van Sciver about his, ex-wife and stuff like that. I mean,
that was like,
you're not the guy to be digging on people.
No. That was really weird because that night, the only person that I knew who was watching the stream while I was watching it was Crystal McGee, and I DM'd her like right after he said what he said to you. Which let's recap what he said to you first, because you were basically talking about what the people in the industry like him are doing, with their actions and whatnot. And then he said that of course he said do you have any skin in the game? Who the fuck are you? And your response was I am a consumer, which in business.
It's really important.
It's really important to listen to your consumers, but apparently he doesn't think so.
Well, and considering he is an independent, that's the weirdest thing about him is, he's an independent creator. He should actually give a shit what people think about it. He's not. It was a weird thing anyway. See, I don't care about being part of the creator circle jerk where everybody tells you, we're all good buddies there, and that's not a shot at Doug. I get you have your friends, although I would question the idea. If your friend says they don't care, basically, if you say, I don't have an answer for you when someone asks, hey, I made $250,000. I went to 20,000 because of my beliefs. Do you think that's fair? And they say, I don't have an answer for it. Maybe they're not your friend. But
yeah.
still, I get wanting to be nice to your friends, but see, I'm not part of that circle. I'm not part of that drumbeat, that circle jerk. I don't have to be. I can be as abrasive or as much of a dick as I want, and I'm usually not. I was actually being pretty polite to the guy, but every time I'd try to speak, it wasn't just that. Every time I would try to speak, it'd be like, yeah. It was like, fuck you, man.
It was a lot of hold on, or something like that. I heard a lot of that, during, and then he would like do this thing where he would look at the camera like, I'm about to make, and they do that. People like that do that a lot. They lean into the camera like they're gonna, like that's supposed to intimidate me, or you, or anybody else. Right?
I'm like, who the hell do you think kept you in like Little Debbie's and Ho-Ho cakes? Consumers. So, I mean, really.
Yeah. And see what got me really got me was he comes in the stream and the first thing he starts talking about is like, oh, my dad is this and my wife did that and blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, I get it. Everybody's got problems in life. I understand that. But the fact is, he was coming in when people do that just right at the start of a stream, or right when they get into something that they know they're going to be at odds with people. They're looking for sympathy right off the bat. It's like, I'm not the bad guy here. Look at what I'm doing over here. I don't have much use for people like that.
I don't care about like him. I don't care about him. Like I don't give a crap at all. He doesn't. His woes, all of that doesn't matter to me. At the end of the day, this is some dude who, in his first few statements, was talking about. He actually backed off of a statement. At first, he said we were anti-diversity, and then he went with the no, just diversity, just SAG. That's who I meant.
And
I was like, no, that's.
And like the doctor said in the chat, you notice that he backed down when Zach came in the chat too. Because the whole thing was like, how has Zach been impacted? Did he really, was he really impacted by not having his, book carried by Antarctic? Yes. Yes, he was, because that was a contract between him and Antarctic Press that was impacted by the outside forces, Mark Wade, who got in the middle of that. Yes, he was definitely impacted. Who knows what he could have made? Maybe it wasn't a lot, but it doesn't. That was potential earnings that is off the table now because of somebody interfering with that contract.
Yeah, and Scott would be mad if anyone took anything off the table. So, seriously, he should really empathize there.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry.
It's a good thing this is a guy, because if this was like Gail Simone, Piper would be yelling at me right now.
I said my thing earlier where I was like, remember, everybody attacking their appearance isn't constructive, isn't legitimate criticism of their whatever.
Don't worry, we're all nobodies apparently.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter.
So what is it? He can't even hear us. We're not real people.
Oh yeah, because up there on high of in his webcomic kingdom.
Yes, I don't know why people are pretending like his creations. Okay, that's a taste. If you like that, you like that. I'm not a huge fan of what he makes. Personally, I've never really had a particular taste for PvP or any of it. Penny Arcade. It's just not my cup of tea. I wouldn't have gone out and attacked the guy for it. I wouldn't have gone after him. But for him to have an ego that size, like he's creating Superman or Spider-Man or something. Come on, no.
You created. You basically. I was like, dude, you created a blue hippo in a fucking webcomic. Big deal. You know. I think he's not friendly with them anymore, but I know he had been friendly with Penny Arcade people, those guys, for a long time. In fact, he owes a lot of success.
He broke off with them.
Yeah, he owes a lot of success to them.
Yeah.
Because at one point, I know he was like really falling on, like, I wouldn't say hard times, but he was having a hard struggle getting things going. So like Penny Arcade, like kind of they basically helped him out, like gave him a job to do another webcomic for them and stuff, and the stuff with like Acquisitions Inc. and stuff like that. And so he had things to do, to kind of got him back on his feet for a while. And it just seems like he's very, like some of the stuff I read, I saw I think you had linked a thing where he and like one of the guys at Penny Arcade had a falling out or something, and he just seemed very ungrateful about the whole thing, you know. And
oh yeah, I mean, he's not. He strikes me as a person that, again, he's going to be good friends until you disagree in some way, shape, or form, and then you're probably not going to be friends anymore. If you don't recognize the greatness that is Scott, I'm sure that that's with Doug, like Doug TeNapel, I kept thinking, man, how would you keep this guy? How would you figure this guy is, again, your friend? Doug gave a recount online talking about, back when blah, blah, blah came up, this guy was in my corner, oh, great. He's not in your corner now. That's for damn sure. He's out here telling you, keep your head down and shut up. That's pretty much what he said, Yeah.
Just because he has a, differing opinion on things. And, like you said, Doug said he lost an income of $250,000 a year. And he might make $20,000 this year, just off of Bigfoot Bill. And his answer to that is, I don't have an answer for that. Really? He should. I mean, if a true friend would say, no, Doug, they shouldn't have done that to you, or something like that. It doesn't make any sense to me. These, and they all have that, man. That's why we call them NPCs, right? Because they all have that same mentality that.
Let's be real though. Yeah. Like a lot of these people, and I'm not going to say that solely the people on the other side. I'm going to be real truthful about it. Many of these people think that they're rock stars, and everyone else be damned. Now, some of them, you can be the best at your game, like a Van Sciver, for example. Van Sciver is very egotistical, and that's okay. Like he is very good at what he does. The thing is.
Well, you had to excuse her. She likes to laugh a lot.
I mean, you can be.
Sorry.
He's got a huge ego.
I wonder how many. Sorry, one of our chatters said, "I wonder how many snacks he smuggled in his folds."
That wasn't the one that got me. It was he's in everyone's corner, literally.
In everyone's corner. That's funny.
That's the one that got me. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
It was a Fight Club reference with Serpio Gamer and a bad one, but it is what it is.
I try to keep my composure while I'm talking in streams, and people crack me up sometimes. I'm like, God, that's good.
Yeah, she can't.
Or I can't do that. Read them aloud.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. That's why I see them. I'm like, and so I just read them out, so everybody can get a good laugh. So.
Well, yeah, I didn't want to just read it out right then because he was already talking, but I couldn't keep the laugh in. I tried.
Can. I don't know why you think that's I mean, that's just.
I try.
You try.
I do sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. But
somebody be talking, I'll just snort really loud.
But but the overall thing of it, him bringing up like. Well, that's another thing. I mean, Ethan made a good point when, he brought up Ethan's divorce, right? A man who's like now happily remarried, has a child with his wife now and everything. And why bring up something like that happened, at that point 5 years ago, Because why did he do that? Because that's what they're repeating. People like the Gail Simones and stuff like that. They're repeating that same line, that
people that are all supposed to be his friends too. Okay, people like Richard Pace, if you go and I've farmed, screenshots from him and he does that. Oh, hey, we used to be really good friends when. Okay, so that's how you treat your used to be really good friends. Glad to know that, glad to know. And there are a lot of people that do that out there. I mean, a bunch of them. But yeah, what I was saying is you can have a big ego, but going out and actually treating consumers like shit, that's I think that's a remnant of the older industry that only a few people seem to get. You see that better with Comicsgate creators because they're capitalists, but these relics out there, they don't. I mean, some of the stuff I get a lot of leaked DMs. That's been one. I get a lot of behind the scenes now. Like a lot of people give me stuff because I won't burn my sources. So I've been. I don't know if I consider it lucky or not. It's ruined comics for me. Like actually looking behind the scenes has ruined comics for me. So I don't know if that's good or bad. I guess it's good. You want to know the truth, but I mean the reality is these. If you don't have a new paradigm set up where a consumer is part of it, then you're going to get a lot of Scott Kurtz mentalities out there.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I feel the same way. It's like I'll never buy another Mark Waid book. You know, it just isn't happening. Yeah. But it's funny because like I'm not going to throw away. You know, like some people, I'm not going to burn or throw away like Mark Waid books I already have.
Hell no. I'm not doing that.
What irritated me, though, is like I guess it's okay because I got it at Ollie's. But I had picked up a copy of The Kingdom at Ollie's because it was like $2, right? And, you know, that was like, you know, the sequel to Kingdom Come. And that was the day that he burned Zach onto his Antarctic deal. And I'd already bought the book. I was like, damn it. You know? I said, but it's only $2. He's not going to get much out of this because it's already at a clearance store. So.
Right.
It's kind of like you said, you know, like, you know, I think you said you started buying used on the last, like what the new thing you bought was like that Conan Omnibus or whatever you said you picked up.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah, I do not. I have a weak spot for Conan comics. So Marvel has been getting me on the Conan, but that's it, you know,
but you didn't try to buy all 50 covers of the #1 though, right? You just
did you see that they have an Arnold Schwarzenegger cover? God, I can't talk. And if you want it with a certificate of authenticity, it's like $300.
Jesus.
Yeah, I was like, good God, to see Arnold Schwarzenegger there. Basically, I just tape my damn, you know, I've upgraded to Blu-ray, so I'll tape a damn DVD cover to it or something and save my money.
That's silly. $300 for a.
Yeah, basically, 300. If you want a signed one, it's like $425 for it.
Good gracious.
Yeah.
It's funny because you said, is it like a photo cover? It's not even like a.
Yeah, it's a photo cover of him in his Conan the Barbarian garb.
So it's not even a drawn rendition of Arnold as Conan. It's I would like no.
It's a photo cover. You should check it out and be pissed off by it.
I'm gonna check that out because that's kind of like what got me about like back in the day when they had like the Hercules and Xena covers, you know, like comic books with the TV shows and stuff, and they would have like the same issue. Like they'd have one that was a drawn cover and one was a photo cover. I was like, why would I get the photo cover? I can watch that. You know, I can watch that on TV. Why would I? You know what I mean? Like that doesn't make any sense to me. Let's see. Lamau just taped the VHS cover to the comic.
The only comic like right now, the one person I never turns out to be a jackass, like needs to keep his mouth shut is Ed Brubaker. Like I do not want him ruining Criminal or anything like that. I like that guy too much.
I'm the same way, dude, because like one of my favorite runs was his run on Captain America, right?
Oh yeah.
And I said, oh please, Ed,
run on Daredevil or anything else. I mean, his work. I mean, he did Sleeper, so he takes Wildcat characters. You know, Wildcat. One of the things, I mean, all of those Image things were actually good art back in the day, but you know, no storyline. Well, he took Wildcat characters and he actually made a damn good story out of it. I mean, Sleeper is a superb story. And if anybody can do that with, you know, like I say, those Image characters, then what the hell?
Yeah, because I would just remember, you know, the whole Winter Soldier story and you know, leading into, you know, Bucky becoming Captain America and all that stuff. I was like, it was such a well thought. I mean, I think that, and I don't think it wasn't on that book for like 3 years or something like that. I was like, oh wow, remember when Marvel could like build up a story and would keep you interested for that long, and you wouldn't have to have a new #1 every 6 months. That was a good time, wasn't it?
That's because they did not fail, though. You know, that was another thing. They actually had a talent level where they could keep you interested. I think there's a lot of different reasons that hurt books, but you know, Marvel has forgotten. They'll argue about what hurts a book, but the worst thing is they have forgotten what makes a book successful. You know? I mean, at the end of the day, that's the real problem with the formula. We could argue all day long. That's what the SJWs do all day long. They argue about why comic books are hurt, you know, why this is going bad or why that's going bad, but they can never, ever bring you a reason, you know, why.
Yeah.
I had a breakup.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
I think he's coming back. Discord.
Yeah, I cut out for a second.
Yeah, I was saying Discord might be drifting on me.
Always on my side. We're lucky not to have like a crank out here. Like actually have to, pedal my fucking my fucking upload service here.
Trust me,
it's like good God.
I know that feeling. I know that feeling.
No. So I said OBS, and when I was setting up OBS, you have to set up your bit rate conversion. And I was watching somebody saying, "Now here's some really ridiculous settings you might have to use. These are so low." And I thought, I can't run at that. I actually have to make it lower.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, it's terrible.
Yeah, I have a friend. We have a friend. He's our tech support, pretty much. It's always like, I don't know how this works, Josh. And so when I was setting up OBS, he said what's your upload? I said 1.5. He said 1.5 what? I said exactly. And he said, damn. So. He said, "All right, try this bit rate."
I'll have days where my upload hits 0.4. So,
wow,
I have to, So I've got that's why I cannot, image wise, it's a give and a take. But you're not usually trying to show an image that is crystal clear anyway. So 480 is okay for a live stream.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes if I have something, especially if I'm like, because I have to start taking like Bleeding Cool articles that I'm making fun of and like archiving them, because even though you block all their ads, there's still a lot of crap. On the screen.
It'll lock up your damn computer
and I look down and it's like I'm dropping frames when I'm on a Bleeding Cool website or something similar. I'm like, I got to get off this. So their
website is diseased, man. I mean,
dude, I had a run-in with old Rich yesterday. What it was they were talking. Rich put out an article about Mike Miller again. This time it was about a guy that he had wrote a book with Mike back. It was an X Factor book back in the day, and this guy was just he wrote a fucking Facebook post talking about how like Mike put all this like Christian iconography in the book.
Oh, okay, I've seen that. Yeah,
and all this stuff, and we had to cover it up with captions and stuff like that, and like the whole thing was just like, we're doing, and then at the end he said something about like the 11th commandment of thou shalt not steal somebody else's art, basically trying to make a dunk, right? Dunk on Mike Day, dunk on Mike Miller. And one of my it was Comic Girl Ava's husband. That's how I saw it, because he had like quote tweeted it and basically called Rich Johnson garbage, and Rich Johnson name searches, right? And
fun.
So he comes on in there and he's like, because he said something about like when somebody steals something or draws over somebody else's art or something like that. He said maybe I should make a hashtag about that or something like that. And he comes in and he says something, stupid, because that's the way he is. I said, well, Rich, what you ought to do is invest in a spell checker, because I've seen some of your articles at WooLad. You need to. It's like, but then here we go, and once again with the sympathy stuff, it's like, well, you see, I do have a spell checker, but if you would understand that I have dyslexia, just like my oldest daughter. And it's really a struggle for me. I was like, that's no excuse for not using spell check, fam.
I was gonna say the spell checker will still catch it.
Yeah.
He'll make excuses like, I'm not a journalist. That's why we make fun of him and call him a hobbyist. And we call him all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said in our, because I put up like I made a hashtag for him called Rich Johnson Hates. And then you just fill in whatever you want it to be. And I said something.
The worst thing I've ever seen him do was aimed at John Malin. So John Malin, he put out his statement about SJWism being like Nazism. Basically, they're not superheroes. They're more akin to Hitler's Germany. And he decided that he would, number one, he would try to compare. He was basically trying to get him fired. So he was talking about hiding images in older comic books, and he talked about Shell Beach, an image that he had that if you haven't seen the movie Dark City, it's basically a shout out to that. Well, he starts going on about how Shell Beach is actually a dog whistle to the alt-right, and this is his thinking. Literally, I'm paraphrasing, but this is actually goes with. He says that because the Dark City is a wider version of the Matrix. And when people talk about red pilling, they're talking about the Matrix. And many of the people that talk about red pilling are alt-right. Therefore, with this being a wider version of it, that was all a dog whistle to the alt-right. That was his logic. You know, I thought, what the fuck did I just read?
During Gamergate, we used the term red pilling just to get people, you know, like, hey, this is what's really going on. Don't believe what you're seeing in the media, kind of thing.
Right.
You know, because if you looked at the media, everybody's, oh, it's about Zoe Quinn getting harassed, you know, and all that stuff. And it was like, when you get down to it, you know, the actual truth of it, no, it wasn't, you know. And so we would use the term red pill. Well, of course, you know how they have tried to associate Gamergate is the reason Trump got elected. I was like, if Gamergate had that much power to get a president elected,
right?
Then you know, how the hell, you know, is it like not, you know, not a big deal? Nobody talks about it anymore except for them. You know, they always try to bring it up. Gamergate this, you know, or now it's Comicsgate did this. You know, it'll be the same way in 5 years. You know, people forget about Comicsgate. People like, you know,
it'll be whatever.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to explain to the anime community. You know, as you know, more and more anime people wake up to the fact that there is an incursion that is going on, and their community is basically under attack. You know, they were talking about the names that they want. They don't want to be called da da da. I was like, you don't get to pick the name. They're going to call you AnimeGate. That's what they're going to call you, because they're just going to make you an extension to everything else. And yeah, you're not going to get your side thrown out there. They're going to make you look like shit. They're going to talk about what you're against and on. You have to remember that at the end of the day, you're the consumer, and these fucking people, they don't matter. You know,
that's what happened to Piper. Like, what, 2 months ago? Piper now was with
Ren.
With Ren, yeah, she
yeah.
Piper got a hair up her butt and decided to like make fun of Gail Simone, and and of course Ren comes, you know, running to the rescue. And Piper wasn't really that. She wasn't one who would call herself Comicsgate. You know, she would comment on it, but she wouldn't call. You know, I guess.
Well, I wasn't using the hashtag.
Yeah.
I just like talking comics with everybody, and most happen to I guess use the be Comicsgate. I guess.
Yeah, we're in it. Yeah. So,
especially Nerd Wonder, like.
Yeah. So all of a sudden, you know, now she's Comicsgate because Ren said so.
And alt-right.
And alt-right, yeah.
Comicsgate and Ren.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the whole idea of this stuff. That's what I've been telling with, you know, the anime folks out there. You know, you're already seeing that layout, and you're seeing people like Ren try to impose themselves on the anime community. She doesn't know jack shit about comic books. She doesn't know jack shit about anime, but that doesn't stop these people from going in and trying to, you know, set the table and tell you what exactly is or isn't acceptable there, you know, because these people, they tell you that, you know, in order to be comfortable, you've got to, and in order to, you know, make this community more accepting for people like me, you've got to. And it's like, hey, you've never been interested in this. You'll never spend a fucking dime on it. So why don't you just go over there and, you know, shut up a little bit.
It's like, I went, because when I originally watched her, you know, utter disastrous performance on Kevin Logan's live stream.
Oh, God.
I originally watched it through Ethan's, you know, when he was sniping, because it was funny. But I did go back and watch it, you know, just to hear everything. And the really thing that stuck out to me was when she was talking about it was the comic book shop's fault that the sales were low. And that they needed to work with Diamond to, you know, be able to figure out how to curate their list and stuff like that. I was like, lady, you've just put me in a position I never wanted to be in. You're going to have me defending Diamond. Right. And I hate Diamond, right? So I said, you're going to have me defending Diamond. I said, Diamond, and you can ask Piper. I said it right here on this live stream. I said, Diamond cannot ship what is not supplied to them.
Yeah.
You know, if Diamond is shipping out crap, they're going to ship you crap. I mean, that's just the way
Diamond,
it is.
I mean, let's be totally fair about, like, Marvel putting 92 books out there in, say, December, and DC putting out a lower month at 52, Image putting out 52, and when we're talking about 3 companies almost putting out 200 books there, you have so much stuff on the shelves that I mean, damn, you just killed comic shops right there. With the prices that we're at now, there's no way that there's going to be that much interest in what's out there. You know, you need to take and probably cut what you're putting out at least in half, maybe down to a third, but make it quality. Make everything damn quality.
Yeah.
And, you know, you get that. I don't understand how you can have $1 billion enterprises in movies and you can't even have like a slice of that in comic books. It's for Marvel, it's usually it's about a $400 million year that they're looking at probably. Mm-hmm. So, and that's before any pay or anything else. So I mean, you're talking about a hell of a bad year.
Yeah, but but what you said is right. When you've got like $1 billion blockbusters year after year, and somehow your comic book company is not even touching that, you know, it doesn't. That doesn't like correlate to me. I mean, it does correlate because people go to these movies and they're like, "Oh, I want to go. I might want to go get a comic of that, you know, to see what all this new stuff is." And then you go to the comic book store, and none of that stuff, what you saw on the screen, is in the comics, you know.
And it costs $8 to go and look at, say, an X-Men comic book or something like that. It's like, damn, you know, I don't want that. I remember being a kid and I could go see, like, say, G.I. Joe. Everything would match up. I see a G.I. Joe toy. It matches up with a G.I. Joe comic book. It matches up with a G.I. Joe show and a movie or so on. You know, there's this enterprise that's, you know, it's all attached. You have merchandising that works. Look at Star Wars. Hell, that's the perfect blueprint for merchandising. And these people, they forgot the biggest key in the Star Wars merchandising. You have to have a good movie.
Yeah. I say somehow they had the formula and they forgot the formula. That's the.
Yeah, I mean, you know, people have to actually want that product. I don't know if you can bring comics back. Actually, I think that comics, they've done enough damage that the distribution system is going to collapse. They've already done it. Mm-hmm. There's no, you know, that may sound very negative, but
I don't
after this year, I think we'll go under 1,900 comic book shops, and once we do, it's broken. It's broken beyond repair.
And I see, and me and our cadre over here, we've been saying basically, eventually DC and Marvel are not going to be publishing. They're just going to be IP holders, you know, for the movies and stuff. They'll print comic books, but they'll be done from another party, kind of like what Marvel does with the IDW. Of course, we don't know IDW is going to be around that long because, as you have gone over so much, how much debt that they're carrying just for, you know, what they got going on. So,
I forgot to check them today. That reminds me. I got to keep well, you know, they will not put out their year until around the 15th. They may come out this year. I mean, this month.
Right.
But it should be out this month, this week. You know, I'm thinking, if I'm guessing right, they're late filing because it's so bad. Yeah. I mean, you know, they have not paid a dividend to stockholders since 2016.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so if you own stock in IDW, you don't get shit back from it. In fact, you lose money. That's I think that's amazing. I mean, when you go in, they're the perfect platform to actually to look at and see what's going wrong. I love looking at that, and they're perpetual fuck ups. Like they're like, oh, we're gonna right the ship because we got rid of Chris Rael. Hey, guess what? We got Chris Rael back. Welcome to the fold. Like what?
Yeah.
What in the world?
That's like and you know, I hate to go back to Scott, but it was something he said the other night, and I think you had already left at that point, but you probably were listening, where he said like Ethan is acting like this is all like WWE, right? It's all about promotion. Mm-hmm. I was like, Vince McMahon is a billionaire, so something worked out for him. So if it takes Ethan promotion, or if it takes Ethan or us, like, you know, people like us, or if we're supposed to make it a spectacle, so people be interested in stuff like, you know, like projects and things like that, and okay, if that's what it takes, you know, I mean, that's what I don't understand.
Isn't it all about having a show and having people to, you know, to feel like they want your stuff, to feel comfortable buying whatever you have? I mean, you would think that would actually matter, but maybe not. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, it just,
I don't know. I mean, what do we know though? We're just the consumers
Who
out
are
there.
we?
We're just the lowly peasant dogs that you know. We're basically like disposable piggy banks, according to these people.
Yeah. Who are we? We don't have any skin in the game apparently, except for our enjoyment of the medium. You know that we have,
except for our money. You know?
our money.
I mean,
Our money. Well, yeah, but that they kind of go hand in hand. You got to give the money to have enjoyment. Yeah. You know, so
I thought, my skin in the game is I would never. If that guy, Doug kept talking, hey, one day this guy might need us. If he was being discriminated against, I would talk about it. But this guy, if he ever got to the point he was like, Comicsgate could help out, fuck that dude. Like he has made it. He does not represent, this isn't a fan club for creators. Like creators need to understand that, this is based on a consumer want. At the end of the day, if it's fulfillment on one side, that's awesome. I like that their creator is comfortable there, but it's also about something else. And that guy made it very clear where he stands.
Mm-hmm.
And just on a personal level, I don't appreciate someone, trying to basically shit on me and then be like, oh, support my project. No, I don't think I can.
Mm-hmm. I
think I could do everything. I haven't made a video about him. I can't find a thumbnail big enough, but fix that.
The screen doesn't widen out that far.
Yeah, shit. Now you know where Flat Earth came from. It came from him rolling around.
That's a good one. I like that. I remember that one.
Yeah, I imagine him rolling around like he's gonna cook a pizza or something. Like, holy shit, what's he doing?
He's like it's pizza time. He starts rolling to the kitchen. House rumbles. Oh God, that's great.
Oh, he just kills me though. I mean, these people are all the same cut. They're all the same. I like certain creators that we have. Certain creators out there. They pretty much. I've actually had the pleasure to see some of these guys interact behind the scenes and the way that they value consumers. Like I was talking about EBS. People see him. He does. Think highly of himself. Like nobody doubts that. But at the same time, I've seen him talking about respecting consumers behind the scenes, telling creators, hey, you guys, like when you're out there, you're being an asshole. Why don't you stop that? Just trying to tell somebody to calm down.
Yeah.
And I've seen John Malin do the same thing to people, being like, hey, the consumer, that matters. I value everybody's dollar.
Right. And you're totally right. And the thing I like is like people who are getting an opportunity now, I guess you say through Comicsgate, that, would have never gotten a chance in the mainstream. Like
me, look at that. I'm going to make a comic book and, I'm going to call it Making More Money Than Scott Kurtz.
Yeah, there you go. That was another, yeah, exactly. That was another thing that really got me the other night when he was talking about the quote model that, Ethan and other people have started using. You're going through the crowdfunding route and stuff like that. He's like, oh, we were doing that years ago. I was like, yeah, Scott, but you never pulled in like $600,000. Come on.
I'm like, thanks, Al Gore. Did you invent the internet?
Did you figure out global warming over there while you're at it there, big guy?
Exactly, man. He did, actually.
So that Green New Deal was basically, the whole page was like, just move Scott Kurtz to the Antarctic and everything else will balance out. Oh,
no, that would melt the polar ice cap.
No, if he's there by himself, he's the only one there. It'll balance it out. We still have the, we still have the other pole that's cold, so it'll be all right.
Yeah,
you understand. It's all about balance, Piper. You don't understand that because you're a woman. I forgot that I'm gonna be like Ethan now. We do respect women here. But no, what I was getting, about, like we've had Crystal McGee on like 3 times now, Piper, 3 different times.
Yeah,
and she is such a sweetheart.
Crystal McGee.
She's a sweetheart.
She's hardcore, like Comicsgate too. I'll have to say. So,
oh yeah,
I've always, she has supported everybody's platforms too. So I was glad to see her actually, get to go out there, talk to Van Sciver, and actually have her project talked about.
Yeah. because that's the joke we've been making, like, because the night she went on, she was on here first, and she says, "Hey, I got to go get on Ethan's, channel." And I'm like, and we said, "Oh, okay, got to leave us for the big time kind of thing, and and she'll joke, it's just a joke and everything, because I'm glad, but we took credit for all her success because it had nothing to do with her. It was all us.
Well, that's what you should do. You should definitely take credit for it. I mean, shoot. Mm-hmm. I mean, what are you if you don't do that?
Right, exactly. Well, it's like I talked to Doug TeNapel one time. It was on one of Mike Miller's live streams, because Mike decided he was an absolute madman and decided to open it up to everybody. He's like, "Here's the link," and nobody else wanted to get in. I said, "I'll go and talk to Mike. Who cares, right? It's just he's just a guy." People were getting all like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to go in there." So I just watch this. Hey, Mike, what's going on? He was like, "Oh, hey, what are you doing?" And then Doug pops in, right? I was like, "Oh, it's Dirty Doug. What's going on?" And he told me one thing I thought was interesting, because you mentioned it. He went years not saying, he didn't proclaim himself the creator of Earthworm Jim for years.
Right.
And he said that was a detriment, because I even thought that the creator of Earthworm Jim was, Dave Perry, the guy who was behind the studio that made Earthworm Jim.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, me too.
So for years and years, so for years and years, you just had, everybody thought that, who's this guy, that keeps popping up everywhere. Oh, he's actually the creator of Earthworm Jim. He said, he told me, he said, people told him later on, it says, "Dude, you have to take credit for that. You don't know how important that is to people," So
it's funny, man. Like, people used to think for some reason, every time Doug would pop in somewhere, like I'd been on there for an hour or something, so I would leave. So everybody thought I had a problem with Doug for some reason. I was like, shit, I never thought about that. It's really, Doug's actually, I mean, Doug brings up good points. He's a peacemaker. I don't. A lot of people have they're a byproduct of their convictions, their faith, and all. And I just, my faith is in consumer movement. I don't need to be forgiving of anything. It doesn't. My wallet and my forgiveness are two different things.
Yeah, that's kind of like how I feel. Like, I would say I'd probably align, if I was going to say religiously, I'd probably align with Doug a lot. But at the same time, I'm also not as forgiving. I mean, yeah, I forgive, but at the same time, I'm not going to deal with you anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
it's one of those, I like to say, I'll forgive, but I will not forget. Yeah. So you're still not going to burn me again. Like,
I don't think anybody should.
Right.
And again, I have to question. I get wanting to say that someone stood by you and stuff. I can't understand, like, how you can see somebody, being in your corner when they say, "Hey, oh, your money got impacted. Oh, you lost, basically, you're down to 1/10 of your money because, people decided to discriminate against you. Is that wrong, or is that right?" Well, I can't answer that.
Right.
You're not my friend there for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, I had to change the subject here. I want to talk about this block of wood I got on my screen. I don't know if you heard about this one yet, Tug, but I just want to get your comment on it. It said, Brie Larson doubles down, wants fewer white men on Captain Marvel press tour.
Oh, yeah.
Because,
That's her. I can't think of it. What's his face? God, what's his face? As Diversity Initiative. I cannot think of her co-star's name. He basically came out and said, there's not enough diversity out there. We need to have basically, more diversity. It sounds like they at first were shilling for a quota system. And now, I mean, you have statements like that. What I hear is an entitled asshole. That's what that sounds like, because their definition of diversity, it's kind of like when I was watching Jessica Jones get a diverse creator cast. What they said was, Jessica Jones, we're going to make it more diverse by hiring all female directors. So, wait, what?
Right?
How does that work?
It's kind of the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of
or the Black Panther. It was hella diverse. Why? Because less white people.
Yeah, it's like they had that woman who's writing for Ironheart, the Riri Williams character, and her whole reason she got the job is because I deserve this job because I look like Riri Williams. I'm like, okay, what?
She got people to sign a petition.
Yeah.
Based on just that. No writing experience.
Well, she got the job, and apparently it wasn't, like, the first issue wasn't terrible. It was like, but, it, of course, as I figured, it would start going downhill after that. But, I got to read this quote from her. This is, she sat down with Kia Brown from Marie Claire. Let's see. About a year ago, I started paying attention to what my press days looked like and the critics reviewing movies, and I noticed it appeared to be overwhelmingly white male. So I spoke to Dr. Stacy Smith at USC Annenberg Inclusion Initiative, who put together a study to confirm that. Moving forward, I decided to make sure my press days were more inclusive. After speaking with you, the film critic...
Hold on, I gotta pause you for just a second.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I love about that is put together a study to confirm that. Not a study that confirmed it. One specifically to confirm it. A study that would make me correct.
That's pretty much it. It's like, I guarantee you that's not a peer-reviewed study. I would guarantee you.
Yeah.
It's not a peer-reviewed study. The film critic, Valerie Complex, and a few other women of color, it sounded like across the board they weren't getting the same opportunities as others. When I talked to the facilities, they weren't providing it. They all had different excuses. So, thank you, Bounding. Don't quit putting videos over when I'm trying to read stuff. But, man, like I said, I don't have to read the whole article just to know that, like you said, they put together a study to try to, what you just said, confirm what they were thinking,
It's very easy to go, here's a statement. Now put together a study that will back up this statement. It is very easy to do that.
Yeah.
That's not a real study.
Hey, you were going to say, Tug?
You run across that. You run across that in so many fields that people are told, like Psychology 101. You have to tell those first year psych majors not to actually, to use confirmation bias. You're supposed to tell journalists and everyone else not to do it. And then you have all these dipshits these days that it's just par for the course. I mean, it is. It's very annoying. It is very annoying.
Well, see, I was thinking when I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and I remember it was a joke when they talked about, the whole joke was like, the whole feminist mantra is like, I'm a independent woman, don't need no man. And of course, the whole joke was that they'll eventually find a man,
Yeah.
It goes back to our co-host who's currently sleeping and probably dead. He has this theory. We call it the cab.
Probably did.
Yeah, we call it the cab theorem. And the cab theorem is these people like Brie Larson and people like that, they don't know how to interact with human beings because they learn interaction from TV, right? They saw Friends and thought that's how like real people act. So, and when you see them interact with other people, it's like, yeah, I see it. This sounds like a sitcom conversation or some drama conversation. It doesn't sound like real world human interaction. So. Like I'm looking at the comments are always the best part of articles because like she's guaranteed that this movie will flop.
My favorite.
She's as dumb as Jennifer Lawrence. That's pretty damn dumb. Aren't there laws to prevent being excluded from employment based on race and gender? It's like, well, unless you're a white man, then you can be excluded because the white man has been running everything for years, so.
Pretty much. It's just like what you look at, with there's supposed to be laws that protect people from discrimination based on, race and da-da-da. But I mean, look at what's actually happening out there, what people say in the open about, we need to hire other people besides you because, and then, they go into bringing up race and gender and all the reasons that you're, again, not supposed to discriminate against people.
Mm-hmm. Brie cheese is more interesting than Brie Larson. Oh, I agree. Tastier too.
Oh yeah. I want cheese.
Why does this is pretty good. Why does Brie Larson attend Major League Baseball games? That way she can claim to have played with white balls. Jeez. That's a lame joke, but it's kind of funny. God, Lord. Speaking of Brie Larson, let's talk about this fundraiser
Well, hold on. I gotta say this because I pointed out every time they do this. They're making their target audience tinier and tinier, and then they're like, "Oh crap! Why did we bomb or flop or didn't sell?" Depending.
Well, sooner or later, they do forget why people liked their movie or whatever in the first place. You know, Disney seems to be really, really good at that. You know.
Yeah.
And they'll forget it sooner or later. I mean, Marvel, they're already becoming the next problem.
Yeah. Yeah. But, let's see, where was that? Oh, yeah, here we go. Because you marketed to Carl. Good old Carl Manvers. The Black Panther was a boring movie, too. You know, I have not yet seen The Black Panther. And I
went out and saw it, and I didn't hate it. It didn't quite have the same... I don't know. It was missing something that the other movies had so far.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was basic. I thought it was just like a lot in the way. It was just run of the mill.
Yeah. It was missing stuff, but it wasn't horrible. So it was one of those that, unlike Iron Man 2 and, 3 and Thor 2, I think. Mm-hmm. Those two. I did not leave pissed off that I paid money to go see it. But I did kind of leave like,
So basically,
it was cute.
Your run-of-the-mill origin movie, essentially.
Yeah, it's just, it wasn't exciting. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't awful. It was like, it's really cool to see Black Panther on the big screen.
Let's see.
But that was it.
The doctor says it was Thor, but with black people. The same way Aquaman was just Thor, but with underwater people.
But I liked the Thor movies, except for Dark.
With the Dark
is that
World.
The second one?
Yeah, the Dark World.
Yeah,
the second one.
The one that was just like meh. Yeah. That one sucked.
Let's fight Dark.
That one was cut weird too. So I left that one wishing I hadn't paid money.
Let's see. But yeah, let's talk about the scam. Sorry.
Yeah.
Charity. I think Tug, you pointed this out yesterday on Twitter, where they're calling this a charity, but I don't see it going to a charity. I see it going. I mean, it's powered by We Have Stories. I don't know who these people are. This whole thing,
the thing that annoyed me too is I see people again like a Richard Pace. This stuff really pisses me off. The guy is 5 years overdue for a project where he has to make 31 art pieces. Meanwhile, he's telling people, if you donate $50, I'll make you a head sketch. I'll give you one for free. Okay, so you got time to do that, but the people you screwed over, you just keep ignoring. That's fun.
Yeah. But this whole, like her pushing a GoFundMe to send girls to see Captain Marvel, right? And I think Ethan was pretty on point when he made this point, is that, so you're getting people to donate to a campaign to send girls to see your movie that you're going to make money off of the box office.
Yeah.
Why can't you or Disney just supply X amount of tickets for this? Because I don't think it would be.
That's exactly.
Yeah. It wouldn't be too much skin off your nose to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I've even the place, where I live, it's like, you'd have some people come in, they would give away tickets to like underprivileged kids and stuff like that to get them to come. It wouldn't be like, hey, can somebody donate money so these kids can get tickets? No, they were like, here's some tickets,
Yeah, and it would kind of help skew the numbers for how successful the movie actually is too.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's
doing it this way.
I think that's the gimmick. I think that's the gimmick anyway. It's like
we're gonna look awesome because we got people to buy tickets for other people, so we make even more money, and we can say we did this on opening weekend.
They're doing
sales
because they did something similar with Black Panther, and since that was successful, they're trying to do it again, but bigger scale because it's more women's. So
the women's,
the women's. Yeah, I'm looking through the donation list. There's Kelly Sue DeConnick. She donated 3 hours ago, $250. Well, she'll probably have to move out of her studio apartment with 5 other people soon. It's like I think Cab makes a good point about that. He said, "Hey, remember back in the day when when you wrote or drew a comic back in the day and you actually made money." And you wonder why like people some of these people are leaving. Some of these old guard are leaving the industry because it pays like garbage. Oh look, Richard Pace, there he is. He donated $50. Do you think he's going to make himself a sketch? You think he's sketching out it's like, I'm going to make myself a sketch because I'm so important. Let's see how many. I want to know how many sketches he's going to have to make. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He's got about 35 sketches to do so far.
So basically he has more work than his book. Like, that he. I mean, that's so damn insulting. I mean, people have been waiting 5 years. He promised them in May that he was going to start finally finishing it, or not May, but March of last year. And we've almost rolled up on another year. And meanwhile, and some, these jackasses on the other side, they drop in and they're like, oh, you just hate charity. I'm like, if you were one of the 100 people that gave money to this guy to the tune of like 7,500 Canadian, you would actually be very pissed about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man,
it's crazy.
See, $13 per child ticket, $13 refreshment per child, $17 per chaperone ticket. So,
well, and this isn't the first one. Okay, there's 3 of these to the tune that I've seen so far of $100,000. So you got $100,000 in fluff money that's going to come out that first week. That's bullshit.
Yeah,
I mean that is,
And I mean, okay, I can kind of get that. $13 for refreshments. I've been to the movie theater. That's why I sneak in my own drinks.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't do that.
They're telling me, okay, like one of the charities said, this is going to be a keystone for other Marvel movies. And I thought, okay, well, why are you raising money to this one when? Are you telling me you're going to be able to take these kids to every other Marvel movie too? Because, like, why does that matter then?
Because
if it's going to be a keystone.
I mean, Endgame's coming out next month, in the month after. So you're gonna take that and leftover money and send the kids to that one too. I mean,
I'm to the point. Like all these origin stories, I'm so bored with. Like honestly, I don't want another one. And there have been so many good themes butchered. Age of Apocalypse, my God, that shot a dagger through my soul.
You mean the Ivan Ooze movie?
So bad.
I was like, wow, that's because I was kind of excited because Age of Apocalypse is one of my favorite stories. And
that is a beautiful project. I mean, when you're talking about Apocalypse making a killing field, culling grounds, and the Atlantic Wall, of course, can have walls these days. They had to call it something else.
Oh no, they might call it walls because remember he's a tyrant, so it's okay. It could be an allegory to Trump.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. They could have made him, They could have made him the Egyptian version of Donald Trump.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what. That's what was so disappointing because it came out on what was it? I forgot what channel it was on. It was one of the movie channels it was like a free weekend, and X-Men Apocalypse is on. I said, all right, I'll check it out. I checked it out, and I was like, my mom came by. And I was like sitting there dumbfounded after the movie was over with. She said, what's wrong? I said, we got this free weekend for like HBO. She said, yeah. So I'm thinking about calling Dish Network and getting my money back because this was bad. This is really, really bad. So,
yeah, after I saw, I'm trying to think of the worst one out there. I mean, really, like, it just sticks in my brain, though. I mean, there are worse ones, but after I saw it, God, Ultron was so bad. I mean, so many of these have just insulted my intelligence. I actually, I don't know. I enjoy the medium, and I feel like if you're going to take the name and insult me like that, I don't need you anymore. So I think a lot of people are starting to feel like that, to be honest. That's why you have a different type of marketing. See, I think this marketing is a push to get ahead of the fact that people are indeed burning it. So,
right. Yeah, that's been my feeling for a while. Because I think I've told personal friends this, that after Endgame, there's not going to be much like an audience for Marvel movies anymore, unless they really do a a nice burn to something like Galactus for later on. Now they got the, Fox stuff. I do not see anything you can go from there. I mean, you're calling it Endgame because you're basically saying people are going to die and be permanently dead, or they're going to be out of the picture forever because a lot of these actors are not coming back. I mean, Chris Evans.
Calling it Endgame because they just fucked up things beyond repair. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah. So and they're setting this all up. I mean, we already know. I think Yellow Flash has gone over in a few videos. We already know what's going to happen. I say Brie Larson. Captain Marvel's going to be. She's going to defeat Thanos. That's going to be the whole thing. That's the big build up. I mean, she's going to use Thor's hammer because she teased about it. It's like, well, maybe she could pick up Thor's hammer, and she's going to pick up Thor's hammer because she's worthy. So it's going to be a huge thing, big girl power moment at the end of Endgame. That's going to set up Phase 5 or whatever the fuck it's called, and it's going to be terrible from there on.
You're going to be like, oh, look, we triggered all of you. Male tears, male.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, shut up.
I do think that Endgame will probably end up being like the last Marvel movie that I go to the theater for because I'm poor.
I'm not. I'm not excited about them anymore. I never thought I would, but I don't know if I care anymore. Like I can go, I can go do something else. Like I'm a huge horror fan. I can find comfort in other mediums. I've finally gotten to that point. I never thought I would say that. I've probably bought, besides old books and, like I say, some Conan's coming out here and there. I have bought in the last year mostly every trade paperback I wanted to buy because I'm not buying singles. I was shocked by how much money that actually freed up. Mm-hmm. I mean, shit, I'm not spending $400 freaking dollars a month on singles. I'm talking like, 5,000, if you want to channel that into the trade paperbacks you ever want, drop $5,000 into it. Just say, hey, I'm going to drop $5,000 in that. See how many trade paperbacks you have left on your list.
Right. Let's see. Matanui in the chat says Thor's hammer is destroyed, isn't it? Time travel. That's pretty much
time and travel.
Oh, shit. Hey, guess what? I just freaking got a message from Twitter that says, thanks for letting us know. Our investigation found this account violated the Twitter rules. Renfamous. We appreciate your help in improving everyone's experience. This is after I got an email saying that Renfamous didn't do nothing. So,
and 3 months later, you finally get a confirmation.
Yeah. Now I get no, they did do something. Hey.
Dude, like I have Moose Ballman sending me stuff about rubbing tugs and telling me about, doing some very explicit things, actually. Very, very explicit things. And, but that's not. Somebody else reported them. I thought, why? I actually told him, I was like, why report that? Leave this shit up. I want a testament to, like, what kind of moron Moose Ballman is. But, I was told, like, no, they don't consider that bad. I was like, all right, so. Moose Ballman's talking about, some ridiculous, nasty shit.
Yeah.
That's apparently not bad. All right, good to know.
Yeah, we what was it last week? No, the week before when we made fun of who's that? Was it Mark Lombardi when he was going after you about your child and everything?
Oh yeah.
We spent a good hour on him just dumping on his dumbass. Yeah. That was fun actually.
Creepy guy, man.
That is. I mean. There's just something about your, just the way, like, bringing that up 5 different times. And, I honestly thought I was hoping it would be just trying to gaslight. I was hoping that's it because, once you start down the creepier thing, remember he got Nasser suspended for saying, something like you punch like a girl or something. He got him for that's misgendering now.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah,
because we made fun of his stupid. I mean, and we do. It's kind of like we did with Scott earlier. We just like found stuff and just made fun of him about it because that's what you do. Yeah. It's like because it's like, hey, look at his stupid sweater. Like he's looking at him wearing a Christmas sweater in January. What an idiot.
I was happy he unblocked me. He hasn't. That was the first time he had unblocked me ever because he blew up. He blew up because actually I threw the ableist thing in his face. He was talking about me using And there was like, you're making fun of autistic kids. How dare you? You're a father. I was like, all right, well, if you have a problem with that, then I hope that you remove all ableist language. And, I went through the whole, I gave them a little list, and he fucking blew up. I mean, it blew him up. It was awesome. I actually screenshot a bunch of his stuff. I was like, here, you're using dim, and dim, that's actually, it's a slur. And oh my God, it was funny.
But it's like one of those situations where, they always say use their words and logic against them, because, normal people, like us is here, would not be, it's like, oh, well, that's just something you say about somebody who's not that bright or something like that or whatever. But now there's like actual lists that this is ableist language, and so you said I've been seeing Re since I was like probably in high school. It's not like that big a deal. I'm
like, are you freaking kidding me? Like making fun of autistic children? Seriously? Mm-hmm. Is that what you're telling me, that you folks are autistic children? Is that what you're telling me? Because I'm making fun of you.
Yeah. I was like, I'm making fun of you, not like a child. Yeah. Like.
But anyway, well, hey guys, I'm gonna have to jump off here. Actually,
yeah, we're getting ready. Yeah, I was getting ready to end the stream anyway because we pretty much covered what I wanted to cover, and it was good having you on, sir.
That was fun, man. We'll have to do it again.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it was fun.
Anytime you want to jump on, or if I'll just ask
that's
you.
Fine. Y'all can yell at me, or whatever. I don't know my schedule from week to week, but I know like probably that day.
I will. One of our co-hosts, he's in there. He's like, oh, he had to come on the day I was working.
Yeah.
He's like, he
wanted to get again. You. Like, there's always something crazy and new talking. Going on.
But yeah, I'll hit you up sometime and we'll talk again. And like everybody, check out Tug's channels. I got them both in the description below. Now that I can say that clearly without getting repeated to myself because I was playing my own fucking stream.
Yeah, good job there. I thought this was a professional broadcast. Yeah. Come on.
Like here I am using, as like we were talking before, like I'm using OBS because we're professionals, right? Yeah, and look at this. Still screw up. Still mess up. All because I got Doug on the screen. That's what the problem was. I had Doug's face.
There you go. That's what it was.
Yeah. Anyway, everybody, I appreciate you, Tug, coming on. We will see y'all tomorrow night. Y'all have a good one.
Good night.